XCW Explosive Championship Wrestling special presentation of Men of Honor Season 6.
Alright, welcome to XCW's Men of Honor. What's that?
Because I feel like I should change shirts.
Today we're going to be talking about things that went a little too far in XCW's history, and maybe not something that you've seen on character on camera, where you know things that we've done, pulling guns and such. But I'm cooking dogs. I'm going to talk about the things that people out there, unless they were actually with us at the time, locker room guys, you probably won't know anything about it. And we're going to touch base. And I know some of you guys are new to the show. Venom here, who joined us in our last episode, as well as Pheonix. But taking his Men of Honor virginity here is XCW Champion Void. And then we have Mr. Kenny Hazard Chaos, as always. And if we'll touch base on some of these subjects, maybe throw your guys' input into some of them. And then if you guys feel like there's something that you've experienced, I mean, you've been in the company for 3 or 4 years now. If there's something you felt like, wow, like that was supposed to go one way, but it went way the other way and it went too far. We'll touch base. But I have some subjects here for us to talk about first. We're in the Viewer's Choice Awards and feeling right now, coming off of Viewer's Choice 2017. This one is something that you and I were at. In between some of the cuts of Viewer's Choice Awards, we take some breaks. People piss and smoke and whatever they're going to do. But in one instance, we had Chris Jones and Psychor hanging out backstage at the Viewer's Choice Awards in 2009. And they're just fucking around, whatever, and Psychor told Chris that he could put him in a sleeper hold. And Chris, no, you can't fucking get me. Well, finally, Psychor jumps up on Chris's back, headlocks him, and Chris loses his balance, and his head splits all the way down, hitting the corner of the wall. Remember that?
I wasn't in there. I did not get to see it happen. All I remember is outside with everyone. The smokers. And all I hear is... Quit coughing. All I hear is, well, there goes Chris. And I come back in, he's just covered. Splitting.
Yeah.
It's gross.
Here's a funny one I want to throw out. It's not on my list, but played a April Fool's prank on Genocide once, and it's on an episode of the Shit Sheet right now if you want to check it out. DTC comes in and it gets in Genocide's face, talks about how he stole his girlfriend, he fucked her, and so on and so forth, and he's gonna pull him outside and beat his ass, and Genocide's pretty scared.
Oh my god, that was one of the greatest things ever.
I thought that started to go too far, I think, but it was...
Especially because Genocide almost started crying.
He did. Oh God, please!
Why?
Please!
I think you once brought this up before. Why did he never deny it?
Right. Here's one that you did personally. You guys all had to go through training.
Mm-hmm.
There's probably even a point in time where you felt like that myself or Hazard were being a little unfair to you in training. We're a little harsh. Well, at least you guys didn't have to jog all the way around Shoresville High School. And I'm not just talking about just the high school. I mean, jog around the high school from Cheney Avenue. Meaning a good 2 or 3 mile uphill run. This was a training regiment used in 2008 and 2009 season by yours truly. Do you think that was a time that went a little too far?
Maybe. None of them work here anymore.
Tommy,
That's not surprising.
Tommy and Chris. And Chris was just doing it. Tommy and Chris were the only ones. From that, I think I made Ryan Bierling puke.
I think I would have been ready for basic.
But, yeah, that may have went a little too far. I mean, the training that I put them through on that was bad.
Can you guys think of a time that you felt like something was going too far in training?
When we all took rounds on giving Patrick chops out of practice.
Yeah?
Because he left to go do something and said he was doing another thing, and he came back and he got Reza chops. And by the time he was done, he was purple chested and everything else.
Yeah, that probably was too far.
I see. I disagree. I think it was perfectly in line because, number one, do not leave the show site when we are setting up to go do something else on our time. We need our wrestlers or any talent or personnel that we have to help set up before we start the show. And he decided to leave, and I believe myself that was a perfect punishment.
I mean, I feel like it was a perfect punishment to an extent. I mean, I think we took it a little too far with everybody giving him chops after he done taking.
We had people jog around a fucking high school 6 goddamn miles. It keeps going up every time. Talk about going far.
We had too much fun with that too.
We did.
Like, none of us were like, man, I feel bad about this.
No,
until
we were,
after we got done.
Yeah, after
we were-
we seen the devastation.
We were all
You
like,
stuck around, I guess it wasn't too bad.
I think he felt obligated.
Yeah.
Like, well,
He
you
should.
guys just beat the shit out of me. I better stick around.
Exactly.
Pussy.
Exactly.
Alright, next up was a storyline. We came up with a storyline that we were going to have Hazard get completely screwed out of a title opportunity. And he's going to feel wronged by this. And years before, he attacked his tag team partner, who cost him the tag title. He had turned on him the exact same way that he decided to now get revenge on the guy who took his spot in a title opportunity in DTC. Hazard hits DTC with a car. That's the storyline that we had written. Okay, so we're like, okay, they've done this skit before. DTC was Lucifer, and like they did the exact same skit. Hazard hits him with the car. He rolls up the hood or off the side, and then Hazard gets out and does the beat down, and he's going to take the spot, and he's going to go on, win contendership to face Cynical, I believe it was at the time, was XCW champion. Well, that didn't go at all. Okay, so the place we wrestled at had a lot of times where we lost power. Like we had power surges that knocked out camera all the time. Because at the time, we didn't run camera off battery like we do a lot of the time now. It was all plugged in, all the time. And so here we got Hazard halfway down an alley. Chris and DTC are fighting to the middle of this alley, and Hazard's supposed to run in. Boom. Hit DTC. DTC's supposed to roll off the side. All's fun games, and he's going to steal DTC's spot. We're going to pretend like Hazard killed him, and Hazard's going to go in and beat Chris, become contender. Except the camera cuts off seconds before, and as we're trying to tell Hazard to stop, he's got his hood up, the windows up, there's no idea what's going on. DTC, I don't know if he was in between, oh shit, the camera cut off, maybe I should not do this, or I'm just stupid and I walked out in front of a car. But DTC proceeds to go through the windshield of my Jeep.
Oh no.
And unfortunately wasn't caught on camera. Would have been great otherwise. But my Jeep set for good 6-8 months. But that went a little too far. What do you think?
Just a little.
We haven't done that since. Just saying.
I think, like, why didn't he move?
I mean, he moved.
Oh, he moved
Front of
all right.
it.
Why did... yes, the referee jumped out and was trying to tell me no. But I thought it was part of the skit. I thought he was actually getting into it. And I just seen DTC's head bounce off a windshield and I thought I killed him. I thought it was going to be manslaughter. I thought I was done. And no sooner the camera turned off, or so it was like, oh, I got out, and everyone's like, well, camera's off. I'm like, what? Daniel pops up. What happened?
So we had to lay him back up on top of a busted fucking car and just claim that he got hit. And it's awful, too, because it makes us look like we rigged it. Like the window was already busted out of the damn car, and we just laid him on top of it and he got hit. When in actuality, he really fucking hit the guy. Horrible. Times went it went too far. But while we're on the subject of DTC, there was a skit where you're Canadian now, and you're going to create a new team. And the first person you're going to recruit in your team was DTC. And as Elizabeth distracted the referee, you were throwing some brass knucks into DTC. But can you elaborate on what happened with DTC and LOL prior to you throwing these brass knucks, and why I cringed a lot going into this segment?
They got into one of the most heated... Chris Jones plays LOL. Back then, we were very, very strict about mask characters. We tried to keep them secret. Chris lives by this. You will never, ever see Chris without a mask on if he's playing his mask character. But that split second that it happened, Chris took off that LOL mask and was about ready to kill Daniel for stiffing him several times. And then we get everything calmed down and I come in and throw him brass knuckles. You tell me where that's going.
Somebody getting knocked out.
They did it. They did it fine. Everything went down in plan, but seeing LOL and DTC going at it.
DTC literally ran up and drop kicked Chris in the face as hard as he could. Hence why DTC is no longer with us. Can you guys think of, you guys haven't been able to say too much, times that you thought, wow, okay, this went a little too far?
Yeah. It was during mine and your feud when we came up, when I believe we were at the...
I'm stuck with this.
Oh, man, what was it?
Extreme King?
Was it the Extreme King where I came out beating the living piss out of you?
Yes.
And I accidentally stiffed you right in the face, and you came right back and socked me, and I had to turn away a minute and kind of shake that one off, and yeah, I think I went a little too far.
Void hit Hazard so hard it knocked his hat off his head. And you see him go, oh, what the fuck? And then he paid him a receipt and he got him right back, and he's like, son of a bitch. They both rocked each other. And I was like, well, this might get ugly, but they pulled it back together somehow.
Well, he knew going into this feud, he knows I'm stiff. He knows I'm a stiff worker.
But he stiffed you first.
Well, but then he knew. I told him right off the bat, you stiff me, I'm going to stiff you back good. And you go right back, and if I do it to you, you can do it back to me. Well, he came out, we're going at it good, and he said, one time, there goes the hat, it rocked me to my core for a minute, and then when I get back, I get him good, and he just goes, wow. And then we just went back at it. I pull the rope down, he goes over, he pulls me out, and we fight back.
So speaking of real punches, so we had an impromptu challenge of Rob Slater. He's one of the most arrogant guys that's ever been in XCW, or shove a backyard wrestling in general. Rob Rob Slater had showed up, ran his mouth to Psycord of Viewer's Choice Awards, and we did a little impromptu match following the show. This match literally had one move, and then it turned into pure 6 brawl, and they just beat the shit out of each other. So that was another time. Not a lot of people can recall. We don't even really have footage of it. I don't even know if you were there.
I wasn't.
But that was a time that things just went completely haywire. Like, it was just gone. Next, we're going to talk about arguments and troubles with Justin Parsley.
There's a long list. This could be a half-hour show in itself.
XCW 5 right there.
But Justin Parsley is... If we haven't told you yet, let me tell you a little story about how, really XCW was born. Back in the day, me and Justin Parsley used to run a company together. I got sick of his shit, and he got sick of mine. So we split. We did a little draft. BYWB was born. NAW was born. Josh Fletcher gets sick of Justin Parsley's shit, and behold, XCW is born. From there on out, Justin Parsley has been a thorn in our side. And he even, without his permission, was using the XCW name in a storyline with
Using
our
our
guys. Corey Lee, Chris Jones, Tommy Merriman, Brandon Hobbs,
Stephen Reigns,
all were in this storyline of the XCW takeover. That didn't work out too well for him. But then there's been the mortal enemies of Josh Fletcher and Justin Parsley. The arguments that have... We've always kept our cool in the whole thing. In many ways of other topics I'm sure we'll probably end up talking about. And we never mentioned names except for one time, and that was the end of UIW. It was that one time. But we had the arguments. I'm sure you have more stories of the arguments.
Man. We have so many arguments, and actually, I've said it a million times over. I love to work with Justin. I would love to have Justin come and be a part of XCW. I think he'd be a great addition. I feel like I'd always have to be worried. I'd always have to be worried he's going to backstab me and going to try to pull you guys into working for UIW, steal you away from XCW, because that was basically what he's known for. But I do want to work with him. He was invited to Until the End, as was Reunion, and actually instead of Vapor at Summerine, it was originally scheduled to be Justin that comes in and cost me the company. But of course it never works out, and I guess we'll just never be able to work together.
It's about as flaky as me.
All I have to do is say 4 words in this one, and everybody's just going to cringe and have something to say. James Cerebral's house leap.
James Cerebral's house? What?
Leap.
Somebody's not
Oh,
catch it.
God.
I was waiting for the void face.
I was going to say, you were there.
Yeah, I'll never forget it.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think we were starting practice or getting stuff.
We're getting set up for her cold day in hell.
Yeah, that's it. And his dumbass decided to get up on top of the roof, and somebody had called him a name or something or other, and he jumped off a fucking 30-foot roof straight into a hole and broke his goddamn ankle.
What do you mean?
Yeah, like it was like dangling like a fucking Thanksgiving turkey leg or some shit. Like
the shock of him going, guys, my ankle's broke.
Guys, it's broke. It's broke, and he pulled it up more like,
Quit moving it. Quit moving
DJ situation.
And then they come up and they're like, all right, we're going to have to cut these pants off you. Motherfuckers, you're not. He wore those pants up until this season.
So it's like a DJ situation.
No.
Way worse.
Oh, God, yes.
Do you not understand this?
Versus this.
And the guy jumped off the roof.
It
You can actually hear his leg go.
it was so gross.
Okay, this is going to be really, really
Who
bad.
put the hole there?
He jumped from the roof onto grass, and that grass wasn't level. There was like a little divot, like a hole, and when his ankle landed into the hole, it just kind of like
Oh, God.
the bone of his ankle just kind of went straight down, and it just kind of made a little dent.
Everyone, you're going to get a laugh out of this. And the funniest thing of the whole thing, like, it's bad that it's funny. This one doesn't even bat an eye and goes, dumbass, there's a ladder right there. And even worse, man, is I just keep going. I'm just hanging up the curtains, going on, make sure you match in the right spot. And everyone's over freaking out, circling him, and he's over there going, there, dumbass, there's a ladder right there. And I just keep going, hanging up the curtains. Like, this is not new to us, I guess.
Yes, all the things that we're discussing here is going too far. Nothing is too far for us.
But here's the thing. What was his thought process of jumping off that?
Somebody called him a name.
Somebody called him a name, and he wanted to prove them wrong.
And Brandon Hobbs said that he'd catch him.
Yep.
And Brandon Hobbs never caught him, obviously.
Brandon Hobbs wasn't even close.
I'm pretty sure Brandon Hobbs was setting up the ring.
It wasn't a ring, then. It was just the mattresses.
Oh, it was the mattresses.
So all this is going to sound like a match, but it's not. Diehard Corey Lee versus Ox Cannon.
Oh.
Man. I don't even know the specifics of why. Like, I know the general idea of why it happened, but all I know is Ox is running his mouth, and I see Andy dark. Like, what the hell's going on? And next thing I know is everyone's over there. So I was like, bring the camera! You know?
So basically, what it was is Ox Cannon showed up. Basically, one of our shows got canceled. Rain, so on. We rescheduled the show for the following week. Well, for whatever reason, he was with a girl at the time. He only had her kids only certain weekends, blah, 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 whatever the case was. And that was their time to be together or whatever, which I completely understand. But you guys all know, I don't just say, all right, well, show's next week, fucking deal with it. Like, hey, is everybody cool with doing this date? And everybody was on board, and for whatever reason, you don't get a fucking choice. For whatever reason, Ox decided that day that he was going to show up in a pissy mood and not be happy to be there because we were taking time away from his family, who I may add were at the show with him. Okay. So he shows up with a bad attitude. I'm like, you know what, whatever. Normally I'm the one that gets hot-headed and tells him to fuck himself. Instead, I was cool. I was just like, all right, no problem, Ox. We'll go ahead and shoot your promo now. And then you'll be first match in and out. You get your stuff done. You guys can split. No big deal. I'll work with your schedule. I'll work with your fucking pissy attitude. Because I like having you in XCW, and I want to progress. So, we go to shoot this promo. Shoot a promo with him and Emily. And the whole time he got a bad attitude. For no reason. We go in there, shoot a promo, and he just keeps saying, no, that's fucking stupid, blah, blah, blah. No, it's not fucking stupid. It's what we want you to say. This is the way we're going. And let me back up a little bit. The guy was in a feud with Christians. He was doing big things in XCW. It was not like he was wrestling, at the bottom of the card against Eternal Darkness and had some bullshit. He had a really good situation going for him, and he wasn't happy with it, apparently. So Corey Lee shooting this promo, whatever. Myself and Emily were part of the royalty at the time, and we were facing the Loyalty, which was the team made by Michaela that he was a part of. Well, it eventually led to him calling Emily a name, which I probably should have nailed him, but I try to keep peace because it's XW, and there's been people in and out of XW that I don't care for. And he's one of them. But I kept my peace because I wanted him to be there. He was a great addition to XCW. I still feel the same way. But for whatever reason, he had a bad attitude and made a name Emily. And Corey Lee was like, listen, man, that's not cool. Just do your fucking part. Shut the fuck up. And then he wanted to step up in Corey Lee's face. And about that time, Corey Lee jumped across this fucking warehouse thing and snapped. And it was a fist fight. It was bad. Needless to say, Corey Lee's still here. Ox Cannon is no more. It is what it is. But that's not the only time the fist fights almost broke out in XCW. Talking about myself and MILF Hunter.
Everyone freaked out that day. You handed me your glasses, and I said, kill him.
There's one thing that I don't tolerate. If I were to put you two in a match, and I tell you, you have to go over, and there's something that you have to do, and you're the special guest referee, I want you to call it down the middle. We're doing a gimmick where you have a problem with him, who's the general manager, so you have to referee the whole show. But then you want to fuck their match up. Obviously, I'm going to have a problem with that. You don't change storylines as you go. Well, that's exactly what he did. He was already mad that he was put into a situation where he was a former general manager with Gabe. And they'd had their misunderstanding character-wise. And Gabe forced him to be a referee the entire show. And he blatantly interfered and ruined the main event, which was Chris Jones's match. When Chris called him out on it, he broke character, stepped up in his face, and threatened him. Basically, all that happened at that point was I seen red, and if they would have let me get close, MILF Hunter would not have been able to join us in 2017 because I would have killed him. That's basically the gist of it.
Yeah, it might be a little far.
Can you think of another time maybe that things went too far, guys?
Maybe the day SummerMania got shut down. When everybody was pissed off, everybody was aggravated. We just got to our biggest show of the year. We were ready to get it ready and get it done because we had so many people debuting that SummerMania. Like myself, Brady Branson.
And we'd worked tirelessly
Yes.
all week on it.
Evan Pheonix, and many others too. We were ready to get SummerMania done, and then we got shut down. Everybody was aggravated, and things just got heated in the back where Tommy Merriman was saying one thing, and Corey Lee didn't like what he said. So Corey Lee went and told you what he said. And then it got back to Tommy where Tommy heard that he was saying stuff to you. And then it got back to where they both knew that what was being said, and they were in the middle of trying to almost have a fist fight. And we basically had to pull it away from each other. I mean, it just, anything could happen over just the littlest things.
Pepper spray.
That sounds fun.
That was
Yes.
by far the worst decision we ever made.
Yeah, this is kind of a two-parter, so.
Like,
First you get pepper sprayed.
it was just bad. Like,
It was supposed to be a joke at first.
then we all ended up.
We were wrestling at the Oakster Civic Center. And the guy, Okie, that owned the place, thought it would be funny if he pepper sprayed one of the wrestlers. And one of the wrestlers turned into the entire roster.
I took a shower that day for 30 minutes. It was
I do that on a nightly basis.
Continue.
Too far.
Second part of that, his disciple hit you in the head with a frozen jug.
And it didn't
And I missed this, so every time I hear this story, it's still new to me, so.
It was a practice show. We were doing a practice show. We were, it was a legit practice show. Like, we were doing everything that would be there for a real show. Well, I told everyone there, I'm like, hey, you guys can pick your own opponents. You know, we'll just run through it like we normally would. Well, Disciple goes, I want you. I'm like, okay. He's not good. Disciple was not a good wrestler. I was like, you know what? I've wrestled worse. And so we go out there, and it is bad. Like, it's to the point where I just say, no, we're done. Like, you are not listening to me at all. Well, he has this jug of water, because it was 1,000 degrees out that day. And he chucks this thing at me, and he just takes it to hit me. And Haley Smith was there. And I never, ever had to pull that little girl off someone so fast. I thought she was going to kill this guy. But, oh my God, like, I don't know what happened.
Was
I
it
don't know
out
if he
of
was
anger
mad
or yeah?
like, or if did he just not hear me? Like, we're done? No more? But, like, to this day, I don't know. I never confronted him about it ever again. It was by God.
And here's a subject that still pretty much comes up today. Fletch, Hazard, and Little Wicked K.
Who wants to go first here?
Go for it.
This is a very touchy subject. As everyone knows, you know, you guys, I don't know if you guys have ever heard the story of the whole thing. What show was it? No,
I believe it was Extreme King 05.
Yes. Yes, because that's when I was supposed to win.
Yeah.
It was hotter than hell out that day, too. But,
It was leading into Deathmatch 1, actually.
Fletch and Little Wicked K, Carly Barnes, were together at the time.
This was before she was lesbian.
Yes. We turned her lesbian.
No, he did. No, Tommy did.
Tommy and Daniel did. But,
That was the first ring rat. Sorry, Ivy.
But, Fletch was dating Little Wicked K, Carly Barnes, at the time. And, well, I'd started, you know, talking to her, and we'd hang out and this and that. I was back there. And we were going at it, and ended up, they were fighting, and we hung out all the time. Me and her ended up together. Well, she was still coming around because I was there at shows, so was she. And it was hotter than fuck that day. The camera kept fucking up.
And she knew I was trying to bang her sister, which I married. Continue.
But it was hotter than hell out that day. Camera kept fucking up because it was so hot. Tension started running high, and me and Fletch actually got into it.
We even had matches Nightmare and Devil earlier in the day.
Yeah.
Which was
very stiff.
Yeah.
It was a very stiff match. Like, so stiff, he took a chain, wrapped it around his hand, and Superman punched me. Like, legit. And it got to the point...
We weren't stiff anyway, so it was stupid. It was fucking stupid.
And we got into it, and I was actually hanging out with Kyle Walton more at the time than I was him. Kyle and Carly got me into the truck and got us out of there. And needless to say, somehow or another, here we are now. I don't know how.
Basically, she was a cheating ass little hoe. He found her with some other dude at King's on the same day that he went. She became a leg licker, and here we are. Next, we're going to be talking about something that all of you guys can touch base on.
Very, very fast forward.
Patrick's personal life.
You're talking about him.
Patrick O'Reilly.
You're talking about him going out with James Cerebral's ex, and Cerebral going out with his ex.
I feel like that's the most relevant kind of out of this like realm kind of thing going on. Like, I think it's going a little too far.
Yeah, I fear a fist fight every single time a show comes up.
But James Cerebral keeps the cool head.
Which is obvious.
Yes, because
James Cerebral loves this show so much that he even said it himself, dude, I will never touch that man here. But Patrick's personal life has gotten so bad
Yes.
that there's like, I've seen him go and just sit in a corner and not speak to a single fucking person.
Well, I think it's on both ends, honestly. I think.
I forgot you were here.
Yeah, this is the first time you've talked in like 20 minutes.
It happens. I think I might have fell asleep a couple of times. But I think on both ends, I think everybody hears a different story from every single person that has to do within that relationship. From what I've seen, everybody has a part in having some kind of anger or something. I mean, yes, James Cerebral doesn't show it as much as Patrick does, but most of the time they do it behind the curtains and not in front of a lot of people. They do it only.
James Cerebral didn't bring the issue to XCW.
And that's another thing. Patrick O'Reilly fires this up so much every show, trying to egg on and try to laugh in James
It's not about
Cerebral's
what
face.
they do. It's about who brings what to the show. And James Cerebral doesn't bring that issue to the
he
show.
never has and he never will.
And now I'm going to get really personal on this. There's a certain person that comes to the show. When that certain person's there,
It doesn't matter.
He's pissed off. He doesn't want to do something. He wants to leave.
It
But
doesn't
when
matter.
that person's not there, Patrick's that comes in. He works his ass off and he has a great match.
I didn't like MILF Hunter, and I didn't change my perspective of how I did things.
I mean,
that should not matter.
No.
But here's the thing that you got to really look at. If it's really going too far, how far do you think it's going to go for next season, going into Patrick O'Reilly and XCW? Because we only got the taste of it towards the end of the season.
I just feel like the problem is with Patrick. He's the one that needs to let cool head prevail.
Yes.
yeah.
Absolutely.
He's the one that has a problem and gets angry. James Cerebral performs regardless of who's there.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem.
That's also professionalism at its
It
finest.
is.
Starting in this business, when you walk through that company's door, your problems stay at the door.
Yep.
That's something you're always taught in wrestling.
Yep.
Your personal life stays at the door.
Mm-hmm.
If me and you do not hate, or me and you hate each other, but he puts us in a match, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to have a great match with you. I may not like you, but I'll go out there and I'll have a match with you. This is how it is. You're out there to perform for the fans.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's somebody that's at every single show that nobody likes, and we still perform the exact same way. Hi, Caitlin.
Oh. Oh.
Mm.
Ouch.
You're going to get the cops called on me.
And
I guess we won't touch on that one then.
okay, I'm gonna go there, and I'm gonna bring up a personal situation me and you had in the past. Yeah, we had our differences in what
That's
happened.
just because he's a puss.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had our differences in the past. Yes, at that time, maybe he says he didn't mind me at that time, and yeah, I didn't really care for him at that time, and I didn't like him. But now coming down the road, it's changed me. I mean, I see it from a different perspective, and now today, it doesn't bother me as much as it did then.
Here's something that we should just hit on.
It never bothered me.
Hazard, Patrick, and James Cerebral. Leave the ring rats alone. Last thing we're going to hit on.
I'm never going to leave him alone.
Last one we're going to hit is one that we probably shouldn't even talk about. Oh, the controversy. All-Star Pro Wrestling.
Oh, shit.
Oh, the things to say.
Alright.
You could talk about the end. You could talk about the reunion.
Talk about every time they get fucking butthurt that XCW even brings up around.
Old Star. Bring it all up.
Yep.
Let's get this out.
Fucking butthurt little bitches, really.
I think it's just pettiness, honestly.
You guys have all been around. You guys seen the end. You guys seen the reunion.
Yep.
Everybody could be in this subject.
Yep.
It's just all pettiness in general. I think that they're not showing their professionalism and bringing it to the table because they're coming to our show and starting the drama.
Mm-hmm.
We've not one time ever went to their house or went to their location to.
In hindsight to that, are we the ones? Are they the ones that's starting it, or are we by pulling the pranks that we do?
I mean,
I'm not saying. I'm going to defend us 100% over that, but
yes. Okay, they started this whole entire ordeal. I believe they were one of the biggest reasons why until the end came.
I think
they were 100% the reason why until the end came.
And now that we have XCW back and we know goddamn good and well it ain't going anywhere, I think we're just adding fuel to the fire, and
here's the thing. I'm not even sure if it is more of the shit sheet skits that we do that's under their skin. It's the fact that we're successful.
Exactly.
Yes, I think every time.
I think as soon as I posted a logo, I still worked there at the time, and you know how much heat I caught in the final 2 months that I was there for posting a single logo.
Yeah, but we were told from the beginning, me and you could do anything we wanted outside of the company.
Which we, of course, know is absolute bullshit.
But we were told that in the beginning, that we could do XCW on the side still.
Right.
But the guys that went there to train could not.
Yeah.
Right.
And you had.
But by the time I posted the logo, all those guys who were told to be in that position, minus Carnage and James Gerke, were gone. So what was the issue?
Really, we're yes and no. All we're doing is doing a parody of things that we were wrong by. Things that we've seen. Yes, the parodies may be a little
Racist.
bit out there.
Things that go too far.
May be a little out there, but
things that make you go, oh shit.
that, yet again, the professionalism comes into play.
Because we don't go to their events to cause the same trouble that they try to do at ours, is what you're getting at.
Yes.
The professionalism.
And the same could have been said about the Justin Parsley thing.
We didn't go there to start trouble with him.
Right.
I think
he said like the whole thing where him and Robert came to the show and recorded us.
Yeah, which is a huge fight between him and Cynical.
I think the main issue is they're pissed off because they wanted to bring down XCW and wanted to bring back the Yarder show.
They wanted to be the only brand in Shelbyville, period.
They're just mainly pissed off because we're actually getting people and we are actually
good. We're actually good.
we're actually showing that we can still do it. That we're not going to die down anytime soon. That
I'm sure the biggest fuel, the biggest shrimp on the Barbie period was the fact that we contested XW Glory Reunion in New Era's ring.
it has to be.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that we had a mole after that show. So, pretty sure the second show, X-rated, that we had this year, we had a mole next door watching everything we did.
Has to be. Because from then on, he was there at every show we had there.
I think maybe it's just the whole, fear, to be honest. Because just think about how many people from back then, when you guys said that you guys closed your doors, till when you guys reopened, how many people stepped up and were willing to, hey, let's do this, we got this is what we're going to do.
The amount of people who stepped up financially, and you stepping up, whether it's 5, or shit sheet, or the things that we were invited to, such as Michael Dye's Ground Zero episode. There's a number of things.
The biker rally.
Right.
That we were invited to. The birthday party that we've been recently invited to do.
Which we'll be doing in March.
Which I think their thing is they're scared that we're going to put them out. I really do.
And it's funny because I've even told them straight to their face, I have zero, at this point in time, I have 0 reasons to compete with them. We do our thing, and they do their thing, and I mean, it's never been my intention to attempt to run them out. That's still my intention, is to do my own thing. Anything else in closing that we could think about that things went too far, or more that we can add to the old star?
I'm trying to remember. I don't remember if it was scripted.
I think our money loss was our big thing.
Yeah.
I think it was a lesson learned, honestly. Going from...
The stupid part is, for myself and Hazard especially, is we've been down that road before.
I think it was...
We did the exact same thing in 2007, and then we turn around and do the same thing 10 years later. Stupid us.
I guess 2027, we'll be right back there.
Although I gotta say, Damien, if you need a ref, call me.
But, with your call out that you had on Daniel Smitley that one show, I don't remember. Was that scripted, or was that
It was not.
Or was that you going just maybe a little too far?
That was. I don't even know if that's too far. That was literally 14 years worth of frustration. Ask this guy how much stuff that I've been over backwards to do to help that guy on a personal level.
Mm-hmm.
And the same can be said about the guys at All Star. I mean, I spent an entire year bent over backward, busting balls to make their product bigger and better than they have ever had, and bigger and better than I ever had in XCW.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing I think for would be the whole thing between Ivy quitting and the whole thing that went down with Emily Moore and Ivy getting into it, not only on Facebook but over the phone almost. I mean, things were said that shouldn't have been said, but it happens. I mean.
Anything else?
Yours was not too far.
On which part? Paper.
No, I don't think it was at all either.
That was fair.
I mean, you can only do so much for a person, and they just keep stabbing you back time after time after time. I mean, if I was in Josh's foot...
And then not even all that, but you also have to think of it at a different point of view. Okay, this guy is a guy who started the company with me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he started in XCW in 2003.
Mm-hmm.
And since 2003, he's never completed an entire full season. Ever.
Oh.
Ever. In 14 years, he's never, ever had a full season. You've had 3 compared to the guy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you've had one. Like, the guy had never finished a full year. Anything that I ever had playing for the guy, he totally screwed the pooch every time.
Mm-hmm.
So not only was he screwing me on a personal level, where he'd screwed myself and Hazard out of money multiple times, and how I let the guy sleep in my house, and I paid for his food and spent $80 in one weekend just for him to eat and be here for the show. Mm-hmm. You know, times I've let his girlfriend come over here from Bloomington. Her name was Kat. They slept on my damn floor.
She practically lived with you guys.
Yeah. Like, I've been over backwards to make this guy, his life as awesome as I possibly could. The guy was in a homeless shelter, and I fucking pulled him out.
Mm-hmm.
And gave him a place to stay. But the reason that I went above and beyond and did it on XCW TV is because I feel like back in the day when he turned around and screwed us and didn't complete a season, it was screwing the guys that were on that roster at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, not only is he screwing the people that helped him out, who's given him money, and guys who are on the roster, but he also screwed 200 to 300 subscribers who watch the show each and every week. The people who pull out their lawn chairs and sit around that ring every week and watch the show, the 300 people who like our page, the 300 people on YouTube that watch our shows weekly. You know, we have shows that are in almost 1,200 views on YouTube, and he's screwing every one of those viewers out of a match that we had spent all season to build.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like, as the guy in charge, that I felt like I had to go out there and be like, listen, this was not our intention to screw you.
Mm-hmm.
You are getting screwed the same way that I've been getting screwed for 13 years. Don't look at this as a reflection on XCW, the wrestlers, or us as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
It's on the individual.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anything else that we could touch base on?
I think one thing that other wrestlers that we've had in this company that I think has gone too far is the people who, such as Vapor, or people who come to the shows and they'll start a feud with somebody and then they'll up and leave. Like, if you think about it from the company perspective, you're kind of hurting the guy that you're in a feud with.
Absolutely.
Because,
especially if you're in tag team.
Yeah, because, like, you started something that is going to help not only you, but the other person across from you build their character. And when you leave, what were you supposed to do with that character? Because they were just in the middle of the feud, and you can't just up and just leave that feud.
Especially, like I was saying, in tag team, you're not screwing just your opponent and the company as a whole. You're screwing 3 other people in that single feud.
Yes.
If you guys were 2 different tag teams, you 2 were tag team, and they're the tag team champions right now.
Mm-hmm.
And Evan leaves you high and dry. Not only are they screwed out of a match,
Mm-hmm.
but you're screwed in general. Everything that's playing for you is out the window because he bailed. And look at a situation with Young and Reckless right now. And look what it almost did with their title run.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else to hit on?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this episode went pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe when I got hit with the fucking fishing pole about 20 different times at Summer Mania.
Oh, shut up.
Next time we're going to be joining you here for XCW's Men of Honor, we're going to be discussing table match variants. We're going to be talking about all the different types of table matches. Barbed wire table, mousetrap table, flaming table, light tube tables. All of the different variations of what a table does to you. So until then, from Venom, Evan Pheonix, Void, and Hazard, I am Fletch. Thank you for joining us here on another awesome episode of Men of Honor. Until next time, see you.